As an international student, your education is basically the reason why you're in Canada, and you don't want to jeopardize your staying in Canada because of you're trying to keep a job that is also paying for your school. Do you get my point? Hi, my name is Chidera. If you're watching this video, then my assumption would be that you are wondering how you can go to school full time and at the same time keep a job. This job now doesn't have to be full time, it can be part time, but you're just wondering how you can work and at the same time go to school. Well, you're not in the wrong place because I have some experience having a job and also going to school at the same time, and I'm here to share with you guys the tips that worked for me and the tips that I feel like you can try in order to be able to cope while going to school and keeping a job, because I'm here to tell you that doing both is not an easy task. And in as much as we might try to hide it or maybe not give credit to ourselves, not a lot of people can do that. Well, let's get right into the video. Thing you should know in this journey you're about to embark on is that you should understand your strengths and your weaknesses. You need to know what you're good at and what you're not good at, especially if you are an international student like I was while I was in school. Your education is very important. That is actually what your being in Canada is based on. If you drop out of school, then you stand a chance of being sent back to your home country. So you need to understand what your strengths and your weaknesses are so that you just don't fall off in school. By strengths and weaknesses, I mean when it comes to academic work. Some people are good at calculation and some people are good at theoretical courses. For example, I can be good at calculus, but then I don't know anything about writing papers. And the fact that I know that I have a weakness when it comes to writing papers, I would treat those papers with higher priority. Like with those courses that require me to write papers, I'll treat it with higher priority just so that I don't fail those courses because of I'm trying to dabble or go to school and also come back to work. You get what I mean? So you need to understand your strengths and your weaknesses and understand what courses are difficult for you and what is easy for you, because difficulty is very relative. What can be easy for me might not be easy for the other person. So don't look at what other people are doing. Look inward, understand what your own personal strengths and weaknesses are and work with that. You also need to understand that you don't need to stress yourself or feel the pressure to do things that would not work for you. Just because other people are doing it doesn't mean you should do it. Do you get what I mean? Like, if you feel like working and going to school is not going to work for you, my dear, don't do it, especially if you don't need to. But if you feel like, okay, I can give it a try, and I actually feel like I need these experiences, I need the money, or I need whatever it is, then um yeah, try it out, but don't feel pressure to do anything that will not work for you. Don't look at other people, look inward, and this is all about your own personal strengths. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, we're going to go into another sector of this video, and that is determining the reason why you actually want to work and go to school at the same time. For me, I went to school, and for like my last few years in university, my first 2 years I worked, but I didn't work and go to school. So my first year I didn't work, second year I didn't work as well. But like part of my second year I worked, but I didn't work and go to school. But I worked in the summer and that was it. But for my third and fourth year, yes, I felt like I needed to pick up some jobs here and there for different reasons. The first reason was the work experience. Now, I was an international student, and as an international student, it's important for you to prove or show your future employers that you've merged with the system. You understand basic things like communication, communicating with other Canadians. You can show basic skills like customer service skills, because when you're done with school, a lot of these employees, they know that you don't really have the skills that they're looking for because you're just fresh out of school. What they're looking at are your interpersonal skills, your communication skills, your customer service skills, and all these other soft skills, your ability to work as a team, your ability to communicate, your ability to come to work early, to take your job seriously. And all these are skills that you would show or that would come out while you're working for somebody else. And if you don't have those experiences while you're in school, you didn't get any part-time jobs for the entire time you're in school, you didn't do co-op, you didn't do any internships, then some employers will be a little bit hesitant to employ you. That's why some people lie on their resumes, because they know that, okay, they wouldn't get that job if they were being honest. Not saying anyone should lie, but that's part of the reason. So my first reason was to get that work experience. I needed to understand how it felt to work, how to merge into the Canadian system, because going to school in university is totally different from going to school as a high school student. High school, you're forced to communicate with people. You're seeing them every day. You have seat partners. You have friends in school. So at some point, you'll be forced to talk to people. But university, however, you don't necessarily have the obligation to talk to people, except when you're put in groups in groups like for projects and things like that. And to be fair, many of these groups, after you're done with your project, everybody goes their separate ways and never speak to each other again. So in order to build those communication skills, understand more about Canadian system, I knew I needed a job, and that was one of the reasons why I pursued a part-time job. The second reason was the extra cash. Like, who doesn't want the extra cash? Like, for me, I wanted extra money for different things. I wanted extra money to even invest in my YouTube channel. I had a YouTube channel when I was in school, and everything that I used, or all my gadgets, my camera, my lights, everything that I used for my YouTube channel, I bought it with the money I was earning at my part-time job. I knew I was going to ask my parents for that kind of money, or they were not going to give me money that was seen as frivolous. So I used the money, or I needed that extra cash to be able to support my dreams or hobbies, or even leisure, like going out to eat, buying clothes, things like that. I needed the extra cash. So those are my two reasons. So you decide, what's your reason? Do you actually need this money to support yourself in school? Do you need this money to pay some of your bills? Do you need this money for whatever reason you needed the money for? You need the money for. Decide what your reasons are, and if those reasons are valuable enough, or if they are holding so much value in your life. Like, for example, if you need a job to help you pay your school fees, you definitely need a job. If you need a job to support you with the rent, you definitely need a job. But if you're just looking for a job for leisure and you feel like you can't do both, like you can't merge both of them, then I'll say just work in the summer and leave anything concerning working and going to school at the same time, if you get my point. Reasons why I mention all these points at the beginning of this video is because I understand that going to school and working full time can be distracting for some people, which is understandable, because depending on the kind of job that you find, and to be honest, another key point is understanding that you actually need a job that is flexible. You need a job that understands that you're going to school and respects that. There are a couple or some jobs which I was fortunate enough to find a few of them that would actually be flexible to your school hours. And when you actually can't work, they will also be flexible enough to give you some time for school. Now, not all jobs are like that. Don't go and look for a job would that don't care if you're in school or not. They want you to work like you're not in school, and that might affect your academics. So this goes back to your different situations. Know your situation. For me, I was fortunate enough to find a job that, in my opinion, was okay, paid well at that time. I don't know what they pay now. Paid well at that time, and was flexible enough to accommodate my different needs for school. I loved the work environment, was flexible. There were a lot of other students, so there were a lot of people that could understand where I was coming from. You have to be able to support the kind of work environment that would be good, conducive for your school as well, especially if school is a priority for you. You don't want to be caught up working all these menial jobs and basically sacrificing your future, the future money that you could make, especially if you're an international student and your visa is dependent on your academics. Moving on, we are going to start talking about things that worked for me. That's the steps that I took that helped me achieve my goals, maintain my grades, because my grades never dropped at any point, and also keep my job. So the first thing, like a no-brainer, which is time management. You need to learn to manage your time appropriately. You need to learn time management skills, For me, I planned my life. I knew everything from my work, my classes, to leisure, to even my domestic activities like cleaning and every cooking were all on my calendar. Everything has to be on my calendar because if not, I knew that I was going to sleep. If I don't put it in my calendar, I'll probably forget or I'll probably not prioritize accordingly. So figure out what works for you. It might not be writing on your calendar, it could be writing down on your notes, doing whatever it is that you feel like would help you know the different things that you have to do and manage your time appropriately. For me, I saved so much time when it came to using my phone. I was using my phone all the time. So I knew that if I wanted to achieve certain things, I had to drop my phone and start studying. If I wanted to achieve certain things, I had to drop my phone and maybe do some house chores. So like those things helped me manage my time appropriately. And in doing tasks, I knew that I couldn't sleep doing something. Like I needed to be fast with different things. For me now, the things that I wasted so much time on were like house chores. I can take my time for Africa. I can take my time washing plates. I can take my time cooking. But I knew that I can't waste my time here. I need to do fast and go and attend class. I need to do fast and go and cook. I mean not cook and go and study because like tomorrow I will not be at home and I'll have to go to work, that kind of thing. So make sure that you are prioritizing your time accordingly and you're managing your time. Don't waste time unnecessarily. Also, in the process, please maintain friendships, maintain relationships with your friends and your family because at the end of everything, you actually cannot live on just school and work alone. Sometimes call your friends, check up on them, and the second thing that helped me was planning my courses accordingly. See, I knew my strengths, I knew my weaknesses, and I was not about to deceive myself. No matter how much anybody tries to deceive themselves, I was going to deceive myself. And this meant that with every semester, I would I would pair my courses with easy and hard courses. So any course I knew that would require me to study more, I would make sure to pair it with easier courses so that while I'm focusing my attention to that course that would stress me out, I would know that okay, it wouldn't take me so long before I'll catch up with other courses that weren't so difficult. So, for me, so you like that's why I said earlier, know what your strengths and weaknesses are. So I knew my strengths and weaknesses. So when I was pairing my courses, I knew okay, like this calculation course is going to take me 5 hours a day to study, and this other one 2 hours a week. So I knew how to pair them up. I knew how to like pair it up in a way that nothing was going to suffer and I was going to feel stressed out because there's a kind of stress that would come just from thinking about the work that you have to do, not necessarily doing it, but thinking about the work you have to do. And I wasn't ready for that kind of stress. So if you're not ready for that kind of stress, make sure that you're planning your courses accordingly and you are not pairing like 5 hard courses at the same time. Maybe 2 hard courses, 3 easy courses, or 1 hard course, 3 easy course. However, you feel like you can manage it, put it that way, and you see that life will just be sweeter for you. You will just be happier just by doing that. So my third tip is that you should pace yourself. Pace yourself, if not, you'll be overwhelmed. The thing about university is that university comes with different deadlines. You have to meet different deadlines. You have one course has an assignment, and that course has a midterm, and that course has a group project, and that course has a group meeting. Just different things are just up and down. So you need to pace yourself, see everything as one deadline after the other. Don't just say, oh my gosh, next 2 weeks I have 5 things to do. No, take your time. Look at it as okay, Monday I have this to do, Tuesday I have this to do, and then also calculate how long it will take you to achieve those projects. If I have, for me personally, if I had maybe an assignment due on Tuesday and I had a midterm due on Thursday, I would personally start working on the one that will take me the most time, also considering the due date as well. If the Thursday's assignment will take me the most time, I would by 2 weeks ahead, from 2 weeks ahead, I already started working on that Thursday's one. So that by the time we are 1 week closer, I can drop Thursday's assignment and start working on Tuesdays. So by the time Tuesday is done, I can finish up Thursday. You know, that kind of thing. So pace yourself. If you leave things for last minute, you're setting yourself up for stress, extra stress. And mind you, you are working, so you don't have time to be using all your day, all your time to do an assignment because then you might not be able to go to work tomorrow because of you will not sleep. So that happened to me once actually. I was just like, please, I beg, I need to finish this assignment. See everything as one due date after the other. Don't just bombard yourself with so many things. Don't be looking at the negative. See everything one after the other. Don't see it as so many things at the same time. See it as one thing at a time. Take one step at a time. That's the whole point of pacing yourself, just so that you'd be relieved of your stress. And this leads me to my fourth point, which is you need to be organized. You see that example I gave earlier about how I would start working on an assignment like 2 weeks in advance. That's me being organized. I had put everything in my calendar. So I knew this was coming up. I knew it was coming up before it even came up. If you're not organized, it's going to cost you a lot because you're going to miss your group meetings, you're going to miss your assignment, you're going to miss your exams, and that's not why you're in Canada. That's not why you are even in school. Just in case you're not an international student, that's not why you're in school. You're not in school to be missing deadlines. You're in school to focus on school. So don't let other things distract you from achieving that goal. And one thing that would actually cost you is not being organized. And if you fail your exams, that's not a good thing because now the money you're working for, you're going to have to pay double of it because you're going to have to retake that course that you failed, and we don't want that. So make sure you're being organized, know where your due dates are, know when things are due, attend your meetings, submit assignments on time, do all the things you're supposed to do, and yeah. For my fifth and final tip is you need to know your priorities. You need to know what is important to you. Are you when you look at yourself in the future, do you see yourself having a job that's your current job? Do you see yourself having that job, or you see yourself having something better that education was going to afford you? Let's say you want to be an accountant. You're not going to be an accountant if you don't go to school. So don't sacrifice that accounting dream because of your working a customer service job. Know your priorities. Now this tip is special for my international students because as an international student, your education is basically the reason why you're in Canada, and you don't want to jeopardize your staying in Canada because of you're trying to keep a job that is also paying for your school. Do you get my point? So always know your priorities straight. Know when one thing is interfering into the other, and try as much as possible to not allow it to interfere. If you don't actually need that job to pay for your survival, like your food, shelter, clothing, then if you don't need to work, you don't actually have to work if it's not working out for you. Which leads me to the first thing I said. Don't try to do things that you know will not work for you. If it's not going to work for you, please don't. Know your priorities even while you're keeping your job. Will tell you when you should get another job that is more flexible, because yes, you want to work, but you know that school is your priority. That's what knowing your priorities will afford you. If you don't know your priorities, you will stay in that job and let that job swallow you, and that's not what you want. So know your priorities. Don't let things interfere. Don't let other things interfere in your ultimate goal, and you see yourself achieving even more. I made this video because I got a few requests for this video, and I know I promised it in one of my previous videos. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment letting me know if this video was actually helpful to you, and let me know what other kind of videos you want me to create, and I'll try as much as possible to respond to your requests. Thank you guys for watching my video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys. Mwah.